Hello, my name's Cooper Shawnee. DJ alias, I would say, is Coop. I'm a third year here at the University of Cincinnati. Been DJing for about a year and a half. I do all kinds of house parties, other sorts of EDM shows. I've played at bars, you name it, probably done it. So I got into DJing. Big music background, played tuba for about 7 years in high school, came to college, kind of lost that, wanted to another creative output, started watching EDM like boiler room videos on YouTube if you're familiar, and that inspired me to buy my own mixer and went from there. The music I typically like to play is a subset of house music, call it melodic house. Comes from the UK. I also like garage, drum and bass. A lot of the times I find myself playing pop music, rap music, top 40s at different bars, house parties. It really depends on the crowd. So I mix my music through a software called Rekordbox. That is pretty industry standard. That's what you will find most professional DJs playing on nowadays. The actual mixer that I use is a DDJ 1000. I play off my laptop. It's kind of, you can get made fun of sometimes for being a so-called like laptop DJ, but it works for me. It's portable, and it's pretty much the best you can get in terms of a laptop mixing board. I would say prepping for every gig is going to be different, right? So if I'm going to be playing a house party, if I'm going to be playing a bar, not much prep is going into something like that. If it's a little bit more basic of tunes like pop music, rap music, and the mixing itself isn't as intricate, I'm going to be playing new things. I'm going to be trying out different things, not really preparing exactly what I'm going to be playing. I have, probably over 2,000 songs that I can pick and choose from. Now, if I'm playing for an EDM show, like something where I have like an allotted time slot, it's a little bit more creative focused. I'm doing a little bit more in-depth prep. Typically, I'm prepping first couple songs I'm going to play, last couple songs I'm going to play, and then I'm grabbing, 20, 30, 40 tracks for what I'm going to do in between, practicing a couple of different mixes, just to show a little bit more creativity, a little bit more talent. So my first show was actually an event I hosted myself. This was in February of 2023. It was called The Melting Point. It was hosted at Mecklenburg Gardens in Clifton. Brought together about 6 to 7 Clifton DJs. This was like my first gig, I would say, I ever played. It was surreal, like kind of prepping for that moment. I was really nervous and it was really bad. I have a video of it and I go back and watch it sometimes and I'm just like, wow, this is like terrible. But it's awesome to see like how much I've grown from that. Yeah, it really is all about connections in any industry, but especially in a creative field. I started out just going to local shows here in Cincy, whether that was, I would go to open deck nights with these 40, 50-year-old guys that have been playing in Cincinnati forever, and I would network with them, and then I would go to shows in Clifton where it's more people my age, and I would talk to the DJ. I would talk to people in the crowd, kind of tell them what I'm about, tell them I'm a DJ, and grab an Instagram, grab a phone number, and that's how I've gotten to the point where I'm at in terms of the DJ sphere. Like I would say now I know probably 80 to 90% of the people in the area that play, and I get hit up all the time to go play shows, or I hit other people up if I'm looking for an opportunity. It quite literally is all about just connecting with people and trying to make a name for yourself. Some other standout moments in my DJ career. 2 weekends ago, there's a studio downtown called If We Die, We Die Studios, and they've been gaining a lot of traction. They do a lot of producing, mixing, but they've been getting more into EDM events. I'm a part of a collective called Crystal Cove here in Clifton, and we co-hosted an event with them at this Mexican restaurant called Lalo, and it was a massive success. Made good money, probably had 150 people there throughout the night, which was awesome. Other than that, I first started playing bigger shows with this collective called Crystal Cove. I now help them run shows. At end of 2023 school year, so like April, May time, we were hosting a lot of house parties in Clifton, and we were pulling 300 to 400 people in a night. You know, it was insane. Sadly, you know, that's kind of over now. You know, those were some of the biggest crowds I ever played for, some of the best reactions I've ever got, the most fun I've ever had at gigs. I would say the integral part to any party is going to be the music, whether that is you at a bar, whether that is you in a warehouse, whether that is you on a rooftop in somebody's just house. The music, you know, determines how late people are going to stay, how high energy it is. I think retention rates are a big deal too. How long are people staying at your events? And the DJ is the curator of that. It is so important to have that in the music. Yeah, I would say a year ago today, wouldn't think I'm in the spot I'm in now, but now I've got the connections, I've got a lot more knowledge about the industry and where I want to go with it. Biggest thing I'm working on right now is a live streaming project that I'm doing with two buddies of mine. It's called Quiet Hours. Follow us on Instagram. It's kind of a copycat of some other streams I've seen all over the world, places in Amsterdam and Brazil and things like that. I kind of want to just record a room with a bunch of people in it, live streaming this music. I think it's super awesome, and that's kind of what I've been shying away from live events for a little bit, so I've been focusing a lot of my energy on this. What keeps me most passionate about DJing is, you know, finding always, you know, nowadays there's the access to music is just, it's unmatched compared to what it used to be, you know. I'm always trying to find more niche, more deeper cut songs, and being able to go to like an EDM show where people are there to appreciate the music and not just like a regular party. Being there playing tracks for people are getting out their phones, you know, they're trying to Shazam it, stuff like that it makes you feel good. And then like just in general, like when you do a cool mix or something like that and the whole room, you know, you can kind of hear the uproar. That's like a feeling that it doesn't go away.
Yeah, hi, my name is Ethan Pellegrini. I am an audio engineer as well as an artist from Cincinnati, Ohio. So I mix all my audio on Pro Tools as well as recording it on Pro Tools. And then when it comes to creating the song, I usually start with the beat. I work with a lot of local producers. Shout out Trey Trizzle, you know, great guy. Love working with him. And then after the beat, I like to write to the beat, and then I like to record it the same day I write to it. I think a lot of my inspiration comes just from some of the challenges I've gone through in life. When it comes to just certain things with parents, or just like, I've moved a lot in my life. I've lived in 5 different states. It's very about how I'm feeling in the present moment. Or other times I'll try to go back in time and make a song about how I felt. I believe that music is a lot like a time capsule of emotion. So when I'm feeling something, I like to record it and get it out as soon as possible. I wrote my first song at about probably 11, 12 years old. So just now, over 10 years now, about a decade. And it was awful. I was recording on Audacity, but at 14, I was engineering my first song on Audacity. So obviously it was completely awful, but that's how I first dived into music. Yeah, for sure. I think one of my favorite things to do is to look back. Every year I take a picture of the home studio or the studio that I'm engineering and recording my own stuff at. And I love looking back to see, for example, 3 years ago, my first year at UC, I was living at the Eden, and I was not with If We Die at the moment. I was recording out of my closet. So I'd have clients come in, and I'd be in the kitchen, they'd be in the closet, and every year progressing into this, you know, day by day. I think what I do enjoy most is that the memory that making a song creates, and the fact that you can take an emotion that I can take an emotion that I have, and I can show it to the whole world, and maybe take them to where I'm at, or open their mind somewhere else spiritually to maybe see something new or see a different perspective on something. Tomorrow I'm dropping a song in a music video. We filmed it in a helicopter. We got some airplanes, some nice cars in it. 16th, another song's coming out. Just every 2 weeks I try to give something out. Whether it's a video, whether it's a song, whether it's a public event for the community. Every 2 weeks I'm trying to do something new, put something else on for Cincinnati. 9 months ago I met up and I became part of If We Die, We Die. Before then, I was very on my own. I didn't know anyone in the city who was also pursuing music as hard as I was. And I met Ibby, he's over there, and I realized I wasn't the only one out here, and he introduced me to the rest of the team. And since then, I'm happy to call them a family, and it's fantastic working with them. You can only do so much on your own, you know? When you have other people around you working on other passions that collide with yours, you can get so much farther, you know what I mean? I'd say my advice would be, don't overthink it. Don't keep it in the vault. Whatever you're working on, put it out. Even if you know it's not the greatest, it is better to have stuff out than have nothing out. So instead of taking a whole year to make that video, make 10 videos, you know, at least in that year, or like whatever you make, push it out. Even if you don't think it's your best work, I think not enough people are really trying to build media catalogs, whether it's music, whether it's videos. Make that short form content and keep putting stuff out every day.
My name is Ibrahim Anir. I usually go by Ibby. That's what everyone usually calls me. My artist name is Ibby Too Vicious. About me, so I started making music about 3 years ago. I'm an artist and one of like the founding members of If We Die, We Die. I started making music about 3 years ago, and I guess kind of like the formation of If We Die, We Die happened like super organically. Kind of a mix of like coincidence and like divine timing. Originally we wanted to do like every process of it by myself. Like that was kind of my outlook on life, was like, oh, I'll do like all my covers, all my recording, all my videos. I'll just figure out, like learn all that stuff by myself and do it. And then very quickly I started like actually learning it, and I was like, okay, like this is way too much for me to do by myself. So I'm just gonna focus on what I do best, which is making music. And I'm gonna try to find people that are very good at these other things and kind of like try to get them to work with me. So that's how I kind of met like Turner and Jake. I met both of them just through like coincidence, really. Like I met Turner through one of my friends who booked a session with him by chance. Jake I met through like a random another studio session that he was like photographing somebody else. And I just kind of met him through that, and then he shot my first show, and that's kind of how we linked up. But pretty quick, we were kind of like the three of us and a couple other people were working kind of like unspoken of as a team, you know, and then kind of me and Turner had the idea to like, oh, like let's formalize this thing as a group. So then we formed If We Die, We Die 3 years ago as like a full team. So it was me, Turner, Jake, a couple other artists, a couple other people, and you know, through the years, like some people have gone swapped out, changed, left, moved on to their own things. But that was 3 years ago, and then so for about 2 years, that's kind of how we were moving, was just as like a team supporting our artists, supporting our own individual brands, and kind of like keeping each other accountable and keeping each other moving upwards together. Kind of how Ethan was talking about before, like this stuff is way harder when you're doing it by yourself, and it's kind of damn near impossible without a good team around you. And so like I always consider that like one of my biggest blessings is like the team that I have, and I think that's what really like separates us from a lot of other artists in the city, is that like we have a lot of good, hardworking, talented people around us that are like supporting everything. And I think like that kind of is what separates us from like a lot of other people. Kind of the mentality, like the name If We Die, We Die, right? Like what it means to us is that you have no plan Bs, you have no safety nets, you know, you pick a goal and like you're all in on that, and it's all or nothing, right? So if we die, we die. Like if we die chasing this dream, then we die chasing it, but we can die happy that we like tried to do something with our lives, and you know, we like tried to make something happen. And so I feel like if you're gonna do music, like I feel like you kind of have to have that if we die, we die mentality. It's like you're gonna put your all into this, because you can't half-ass this. Like being an artist and doing music is basically like starting your own business and being an entrepreneur, right? If you're an artist, you're handling all your social media, your marketing, your sales, your networking, all this kind of thing. So you kind of just have to have that, like, if we die, we die, all in, like, no half-assing. So those are the three main things I'd say. And then finding a good team around you, like, that's, like, so crucial, having a good team. Like, it's so hard to do by yourself. Even if it's one or two other dudes, like, before everyone else, it was just me, Turner, Jake. So, like, that was two people, you know, but, like, have a team around you. And if you guys would keep working, like, you'll just attract more talented people, other people that want to work with you. Like, it'll just grow with you kind of thing, you know, it comes organically. You got to be kind of like delusional about it a little bit, you know. You kind of have to have like a sense of delusion and like you got to be grounded in reality. You can't be totally up in space, but you kind of have to believe that like you can like fucking do anything that you want to do, and you got to take that belief like straight. Like that has to be your core belief, because you don't have that, like you're really not going to make it. You got to kind of have like just unwavering just belief in yourself. Like, and you know, I still have doubts, you know, I still falter at times. I'm still like, oh, did I make the right decision? But at the end of the day, my core is like, I really think I can take this shit to the moon and wherever I want to take it. And you kind of got to have that like delusional belief of like, I can perform to a crowd of 1 million people. I can, you know, have multiple plaques on the wall. I believe I can do this, you know. And it sounds delusional. And a lot of people, I think also like another piece of advice would be like, a lot of people think that like, you know, these guys that you see that are big stars right now, like Drake and fucking Weeknd, whatever, all these people, right? A lot of people think that, you know, they're born special, they're born with something that I don't have or I can't have. But like at the end of the day, the really thing that separates them from you is just like their work ethic and consistency. Like that's literally all it is. Like if you put in an extraordinary amount of work for an extraordinary amount of time, like it's inevitable that you'll make it. And I kind of take that like to heart. And I think like that's what we're all doing.